Hello, students. Today we are going to discuss a new poem named Fire and Ice, written by Robert Frost. At first, we can see who is this writer. Robert Frost was one of the most respected and popular American poets of 20th century. He was famous for his nature poems. He depicted the real life of rural people through his poems. Okay, now let us move to the poem Fire and Ice. The title Fire and Ice, it is short but it is meaningful. Okay, then here we can see two stanzas that the poem that contains two stanzas, and the first stanza it contains four lines and the second stanza consists of five lines. Okay, here now we can go to the first stanza of the poem. Some say the world will end in fire and some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Okay, here some people they says that the world will end in fire, and some people they are of the opinion that it will end in ice. Okay, here the fire and ice are two images. Okay, here the fire that stands for desire and greed. Okay, that means the deep craving inside the minds of people or the greeds inside the people. Okay, then ice that stands for hatred and war. Okay, hatred and war. And here the poet he is talking about two possibilities of the destruction of this world. Either it may get destroyed by fire or either it may get destroyed by ice. Okay, from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Okay, but in the opinion of poet, that nobody is satisfied with their desire. Okay, nobody in this world they are satisfied with their desire, and they want more and more. So he says that he hold with those who favor fire. So he says that he will agree with those who says that the world will end in fire, or those who says that the world will end with desire or greed of people. Okay, now let us move to the next stanza. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice it is also great and would suffice. Okay, now in the second stanza, he says that if the world that gets a second chance to perish or to get destroyed, okay, or if the world that gets a second chance to get destroyed, then what will happen? It may be of ice. Okay, for the second time, it may be of ice. I think I know enough of hate to say that of destruction, ice is also great. So he says that this ice, it is also destructive as fire, or this hatred, it is also equal with desire and greed. Okay, So it also is also great and suffice. Suffice means sufficient or enough, more enough. Here this ice or the hatred in the minds of people itself is enough to destroy this world. That is the opinion of the poet. Okay, now we understood that the poet is speaking about a serious problem, that the world, that how the world will end. Okay, now let us move to the poetic devices used in this poem. Some say the world will end in fire, and some say in ice. Okay, here the words some say, it is repeated in the first two lines or in the beginning of the first two lines. Okay, to get more emphasis or to bring about more emphasis, this kinds of repetition, it is known as anaphora. Anaphora. It is anaphora means a word or group of words is used repeatedly to emphasize. Okay. So here we got an example of anaphora. Then the next literary device used here, it is alliteration. Some say the world will end in fire. Okay. In the first line of the poem, we will get two examples for alliteration. The C sound or the initial consonants of the words are repeating within the same lines of the poem. The C sound, it is repeating here in the words some and say. And in the words world and will, W sound, it is not a vowel sound and it is repeating. Okay. Then here you can also see the examples of symbolism. Okay. Fire and ice, the two words fire and ice, it is used here as symbols. Okay. Or images. As the fire, it stands for or it is the symbol of desire and greed. And on the other hand, ice, it is the symbol of hatred and war. Okay. Then here you can see another poetic device. It is enchantment. Enchantment is an idea, doesn't end with a line. Here, what is enchantment? An idea that it doesn't end with a line but is carried on without punctuation. Here, an idea in one line that is carried out in the next lines without separating the lines by using punctuation marks. Okay, that poetic device is known as enchantment. Here you can see, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Here, within these four lines, we can't see punctuation marks, that is separating the lines or ideas. So, this poetic device, it is known as enchantment. Okay. Then you can also see examples for assonance. As we said that alliteration, it is the repetition of initial consonants. Here, assonance means the repetition of vowel sounds. Here in the words if and it, then you can see E sound, it is repeated. Okay. Then rhyme scheme, it is another poetic device used by the poet. Then what about the rhyme scheme of the first stanza? It is A B A B, because the words fire, fire, sorry, rhyme scheme it is ABAA. Fire, it is ending with the sound Then desire, and this fire and desire, it is rhyming together, and we can give A to that pair. Then what about the last line? Fire, it is also pairing with this or rhyming with this rhyming words in the first and second, third lines. Okay, and the rhyming word in the second line, it is different from that of other three lines. So we can give it the letter B. Okay, now let us conclude today's class here, and the remaining part and the question answers and other activities from this chapter that we will discuss in the next class. And thank you.